Live. So, good morning, one and all. And this is GS Kumar from the city of Bangalore, job hunt coach and a LinkedIn trainer. This is a season two of HR roundtable discussion, which is happening every Sunday, 11 o'clock. This particular week, we have chosen a very burning topic across recruitment fraternity, which is AI tools are replacing recruiters or empowering them. So, artificial intelligence, in my opinion, is no longer a futuristic idea. The implementation is already started and it is reshaping the whole hiring process, talent acquisition, mindset of recruiters, HR, and L&D on how we judge on the talent or how we define the human potential. Tools like ChatGPT or HireView or screening resumes. There are automation tools which is conducting interviews or even predicting performance. These are all the various experiences which we have seen in the last 6 months with various MNCs, manpower agencies on the HR and recruiters domain. Now, the question we are asking today is very simple but powerful. Are AI tools replacing recruiters or empowering them to become better on what they are doing right now? Because typically, talent acquisition role is a very complicated and a people-oriented job. So, is this AI is supporting and reducing the complexity, or even it's a threat for their own job? That's what we are going to discuss in today's panel discussion with the expert panel members, wherein we will try to decode as much as possible with vast experience with panel members. Happy to welcome all the panel members spending time today on a Sunday and sharing all this valuable session. To introduce, we have Suniti Rawat, Senior Executive HR Info Edge, Mr. Rohit Jain, Business Coach, founder of Pro ValueNet AI-powered recruitment assessment system. We have Geetika Gupta, founder Search Buddies, and we have William Carey, project manager and HR enthusiast. So happy to welcome all the panel members, and it's so joyful and to discuss multiple dimensions of this particular topic. Since you come from recruitment and HR, there'll be a lot of insightful input. I feel like this session is going to have. So maybe we'll introduce ourselves with a 60 seconds introduction so that our audience know who you are and what you do, all that. With your first impression about your this particular topic. So maybe we'll start with Rohit.
Sure. Hi. Uh, as you know, my name is Rohit Jain, and I'm very comfortable if you call me RJ. That works for me. I have roughly about 24 years of work experience behind me. I've worked in the operations, data management, automation, and last 15 years I've been managing HR. For the last 10 years, I was heading the HR for two different software companies. That's a little background about me. I'm really happy to be here. Thanks for having me here. And the topic is really interesting because it touches a real fear in which is real in the industry today. That am I going to be replaced with AI, or am I going to lose my job? So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I stay in Mumbai, if that works. Yeah, and today, currently, since the last 6 months, I've been training myself to be a business coach, and I've also created a SaaS system, which is an AI-powered candidate assessment system. More about that later. But yeah,
Sure,
thanks.
sure. Thank you, and welcome for today's session, RJ. Moving on to William Carey.
Yeah, hope I am audible, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm William. I completed BBA, MBA, now I'm pursuing a DBA. I'm currently working as TCS. I am also founder of the Talk to Us, where we hiring the freshers, we help the freshers, how the freshers will be placed on the organization. I'm being working as a reviewer for the international journals of human resource management. I'm so happy to be here in this on panel for discussing AI tools and for replacing the recruiters or employing them. Thank you so much, and I welcome everyone. Great have sharing the panel with a huge experience, guys. Here, thank you.
Thank you. Welcome, William. Moving on to Geetika Gupta.
Hi everyone, very good morning. I come with almost 18 years of experience in HR. if I say HR, most probably it would be majorly into recruitments. I've hired people for SaaS, retail, and tech organizations. Um, I've started my business journey almost 6 months back. I'm working as a business and I'm heading a staffing agency in Bangalore. And I'm very, very excited to explore and learn about AI thoughts, that what my peers and what these people think about AI. I'm more than happy to pitch in my own ideas here. So thank you so much, Kumar, for this platform.
Yeah. Welcome, Geetika. Moving on to Suniti.
Right. So thank you so much, first of all, GS, for having me in this discussion. I feel very grateful to be a part of this panel discussion. And yeah, good morning, everyone. And I hope you all are having a great Sunday. Myself, Sunidhi Rawat. I am a PGDM holder in HR and digital marketing. I am based out of Delhi. And currently, I'm working as a senior executive at InfoEdge Private Limited, having previously worked at Gartner as well. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to work across tech hiring, corporate hiring as well, DNI management, employee engagement is something I have touched upon as well. And yeah, having seen this evolution of technology from manual screening, doing tasks manually to today's AI precision that is happening, I'm really excited to pitch in my points and explore how technology is actually reshaping our world as recruiters. So happy to have be a part of this discussion.
Sure. Welcome once again, and happy to discuss lot many items. So maybe I'll open one particular dimension to start with, basically on the efficiency and empathy part of it, because one way in organization, everybody running behind efficiency. Like if at all it is 70%, how can I improve to 80%, 90%? That's the business element expectation on every dimension of business, right? The other thing is on the empathy side, where people losing jobs and multiple other areas where just because of one automation or one AI tool, maybe 10 people will be losing job. So now AI tools can now scan about 1,000 resumes in a minute. That's the kind of tools which we are there. And are they truly understand the candidate's perspective, intention, or skill set is what, from the hiring perspective, people have to know, because we are not meeting people, we are meeting only the document, that means resume. With that, uh, is that empathy towards job expectation, attitude can be really solved. That is a dimension, the first element we'll have to discuss. Maybe I will open an area where whomever wants to contribute to that particular area, you can open. So, has AI made hiring efficient or emotionless? Is that's the element which I wanted to open a topic for the first element. Are we losing human warmth from a data-driven convenience? Anybody who wants to share your opinion, you can start. So I just repeat, it is more towards, is it efficiency or emotionless condition which we are driving into? With your past experience, anybody can share your viewpoint.
Sure. Let me begin then. Yeah. Great. So the entire recruitment process, if you take a look at it, and I'm talking about the efficiency part first, and then we move on to the empathy, is overloaded. Not with decisions, but generally with repetitive tasks. Screening a plethora of CVs, it could be 100 to 200 CVs as well for a single role sometimes. Um, manually taking follow-ups, sometimes manually assessing CVs to begin with, then interview scheduling, and okay, thankfully a lot of tools today have automated the interview scheduling part since a while now, and then formulating the feedback, understanding what the business requirements are, and then tweaking your search again, and so on and so forth. The entire process that feeds back into the right at the beginning of the recruitment process is sometimes very tedious. With the AI tools coming in, right? This entire process has seen a lot of efficiency coming in. You don't need to manually sit down and screen CVs. Now, as a human brain, if you just read through a few documents, and then after about 7 to 10 resumes, your mind is already fatigued. What is the
True.
empathy that we're talking about? After that, right? The
Mm-hmm.
recruiter then becomes more like a robot, more than a human, right? And that's my personal experience. And I've seen so many recruiters lose that, saying, this is not a good candidate. This is a good candidate, but yeah, I'll talk to him at a later point in time when I'm fresh, and that makes a lot of sense. But at the same time, with the AI advent coming in, right, where, and especially, that is when we develop ProValuate as well, because we notice that you're talking to a document and not to a person. You're actually trying to assess that. And one of the things that we also plan to do, or the way we've designed it, is so that it understands the full context of the JD, not just a frivolous keyword matching or search. And inside of that, it understands the full context of a CV. Even if it is written by an AI, it'll actually assess the underlying, it'll extract the features, and underlying features will be matched against each. It's super intelligent from that perspective. But when you have intelligent tools like this coming in, the recruiter then does not have to start from point zero. He already has a pedestal to begin from there on. So he's already ahead in the game. He or she does not need to necessarily go out there and screen so many profiles, right? It does not say, okay, you should hire them or not hire them. It says, here is the data. Now you decide. So the data is no longer just what's written in the CV, and every single CV is formatted very differently. For you to find out just the date of birth itself, for example, if age is a criteria, becomes difficult for each candidate. You want to see if the profile has got any gaps, right? If there have been any career gaps, and you want to identify that. That again is tedious. Now, if a system does all of this for you and gives it to you in a very simple format where you can compare one to the other and say, okay, fine, anyone with a gap can be separated out. Anyone who's between this range and this range of age can be separated out, and so on. It helps the recruiter sort the profiles much faster. It gives you the data to begin your analysis from. I think that itself frees up the recruiter from the mundane and lets him or her no longer deal with the fatigue, but deal with the person that he's or she is going to be talking to. I think that begins the empathy part of it when it comes to the candidate conversation. Now, talking about the empathy about recruiters losing their jobs, right? Because the automated tools coming in. Once again, I don't think that the AI can replace humans. It will
Okay.
replace the process, the mundane. It will replace those inefficiencies in this process. So if you are a recruiter who just dumps profiles, sorry, but I'm just going to be blunt, because there are a lot of people who go out there, see some keywords, say, this is okay, this is okay, this is okay. Now let the hiring manager, shortlist the profiles. I've done my job. And then the hiring manager comes back and says, okay, these are the profiles and this is the feedback, and they're not working for me. Go back and do your job. uh, those are the kind of recruiters who will get replaced. So I think the recruitment space could get cleaner, would only see the more matured recruitment staff staying in. The ones who now want to upgrade themselves will not have a question that will AI replace me. The question will be, how can I question AI better? How can I use AI better? How can I use AI as a tool to make me better rather than will AI replace me? I mean, those are my thoughts initially that come to my mind.
Yeah, as you rightly said, skilled people will always have their own way of proactiveness in enhancing their uh, new technology. See, HR and recruitment is a space where a mandatory qualification is not required. Anybody can become a recruiter, because even engineers or anybody arts and science, or even a diploma candidates has been asked to do sourcing in a lot of companies and other things, wherein they think that it is only a telecalling job, or calling and scheduling job, and they forget about the sourcing, understanding about the terminologies of the JD. That's where the huge gap comes, when in terms of interview scheduling, interview dropouts, offer, all this because of non-skilled recruiters. I think that one dimension you have pointed out in a very right way, like recruiter skills has to be enhanced in a far more better way, so that the productivity can be increased. And I think in the process mechanism, there are a lot of streamlining structuring which is happening, so that skilled recruiters will always have a room to develop and grow further. Fine, thanks, point. Maybe I'll move on to the next dimension. Um, is it recruiters evolution or replacement? Like, though we say AI handles sourcing, shortlisting, initial interviews, then what is left for recruiters? Because recruiters' job is to source, screen, interview, and then line up for the hiring manager. So, what is the job which is left for the recruiters is what we'll have to think. Maybe I'll invite Geetika to throw some light on this. Maybe if in case you're comfortable.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I'm more than happy to pitch it. Uh, see, likewise, very nicely, RJ has put up that, if it is not about uh, the hiring process, it is about evolution of uh, recruiter with the AI platforms, right? So, as a role, yes, definitely, the basic role is always about getting applications, sourcing, screening, getting the offers out. But I think with the usage of AI, and I'll just very quickly state my kind of experience. When I started 18 years back, my inbox was used to be full of resumes, and it was a kind of a task every day to just go through 200 resumes. And I
Yeah.
used to think that, I hope I have somebody who can help me with it. Like,
Mm.
probably at a basic level, just to save on time. But I think I'm very glad that AI is a kind of support which has come in with its own tools where we can actually take help with a very basic kind of screening. And if I say that, I also mean that the recruiters also have to be equally talented with or probably trained with the AI tool. So how does an algorithm work is what the recruiter has to learn. So
Mm.
for example, they basically needs to learn that how can they become a AI prompt engineer. So if I say that, that means how does a backend work? How's if I put a keyword in AI, say for example, chat GPT, so what kind of algorithm will work and I'll get a certain output out of it. So it's the same when mobile phones came in and then we were not really sure that landlines will go over, and people who actually worked with it now they are actually they have their own companies and they run these companies and all of that. So I think with new technologies, it is always be a space where people are scared, and that is 100% a kind of valid fear. And secondly, recruitment is evolving. We are working as business partners now. We are not only somebody who's just pushing the CV in the inbox and then probably the hiring manager will manage it, but we are actually bringing a lot of employee value proposition. We can actually move into EQ, which probably AI cannot do yet, right?
Mm.
So, for example, in my last organization I worked with, candidate experience was a non-negotiable thing. So, if I say candidate experience, somebody whom you start with as a first touch base point, and till the person doesn't join, we have to stay in touch with the candidate irrespective of whatever he or she joins or doesn't join. So that brings a lot of EQ in the kind of role which is developing. So yes, sourcing, screening, rolling out offers is one part of the recruitment which is probably by evolution of time will be taken care of by AI, and our training towards AI. But I think we bring a lot of different values on the table apart from only sourcing, screening. That is what my thought process is. We are that is the reason we have HR VPs now, because it is not only just dumping CVs and probably getting somebody on board. It is more about what you bring on the table. Like, for example, manpower planning used to be done by businesses before, not talent acquisition. Now it is becoming the part,
Correct.
right? So a lot of mind work where EQ is involved is where the recruitment should move and is moving, is what I see. Also, I feel that
So, do you see recruiters being replaced or redefined?
I think redefine, definitely redefine. So that is what I said. If you're ready to get yourself trained and you want to understand how does it work, I'm not saying AI is perfect. Nobody is. It's again
Correct.
something which
That's
is
a valid point.
coded and all of that. But what I also believe when I started this business, also obviously I'm taking help from ChatGPT and Gemini and all the regenerative AI I could, but I also have to go back and understand that how does it work. Can I there's a lot of biasness also, because whatever kind of CVs I'm pushing into I might only be looking at certain kind of college. So obviously, I am creating that base into AI, and then AI is not able to actually catch hold of it. So we also
Correct.
need to understand that the basic background of AI, how does it work before we actually go ahead and say, it is a ally or kind of a friend or something like that. Let's train ourselves first to understand it, and then, do a lot of things around it. It needs a lot of
That's a very
governance
valid
and
point.
discipline, basically.
Mm-hmm. So, do you think recruiters should reinvent themselves in the new AI reality, or um, what kind of reinvention do you think? Because you come from that recruitment background, so each time there are a lot of reinvention happening in the system. They introduce like automation, ERP, multiple CRM. You have seen now it is a AI era where reinventing at various stages is required. So, as a recruiter, what kind of reinvention is required?
So I think first and foremost, so AI, how does it work? I'm sure everyone here must have worked on AI. So we always give a prompt first to an AI. So for example, uh, look at the candidates who have, say, 7 years of experience, talent acquisition, say hotel background, so and so college, blah 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 blah, and then we give that prompt to AI.
Yeah.
So that one, I think recruiters have to really understand the prompt cannot be something which is a very basic thing. So for example, if I talk about Gemini, which is basically a regenerative AI, if you give it a background story, say for example, the company is this and this, I'm hiring for this company, this is the business I am catering to. Now they have, say, A to C plan, they want to move from, say, 10 people to 100 people. This is the kind of role it has come in. So I'm looking for candidates with some background story to it, will definitely lead to a different kind of results, because what you're giving right now is a problem. And otherwise, what you're telling in the second option is you're telling a story. So once you tell the story, the AI is able to actually generate a lot better and a different kind of data for you, because it is not only working on one problem, it is actually taking care of entire story for you. So once you have to
Yeah.
work on
Yeah.
prompts, you have to understand how does a prompt work with AI, basically. That's the first thing. And I think we need to have literacy, like data literacy is very, very important, because um, it is nowadays management has a lot of data in terms of higher ratios, gender ratios, diversity ratios, and all of that. So I think the deep dive into data literacy is the recruiter's role now, because the basic work is shifting from um, recruiter to AI. And I think now we have that time where we can sit on the numbers, we can generate that, you can generate graphs and ratios and whatsoever, and we are confident enough to share it with the management. So I think deep literacy, data literacy is something which I think will also come in while AI is also coming our way. Um, that's the second point. What I understand has to be like really, really understandable. And I think as a moving from a manual task to an advisor role. So, for example, you focus on the business you are targeted. So, for example, I was basically heading finance for Zscaler. I was hiring for finance department for Zscaler. So my role was not just to close, say, a AP director. My role was that why are we in queue for, why are we hiring, say, 4 people and not 2, and what do they bring in, what kind of business are they basically attached to. So I am not only doing transactional work, I'm basically working with the business to understand why A and not B, basically. So when you ask those questions, so you'll get more idea about the business, and then you move up the ladder accordingly, because they don't only see you that somebody sending the CV, but also somebody who is actually adding a lot of value in the system.
I think makes a lot of sense in terms of so the data related stuff, because that's the third dimension I wanted to open up, like data power and data privacy. So
Yeah.
see, now AI platforms are hosting vast volume of candidate data. If you look at it that way, like we are dumping with a lot of candidates data and resumes, facial expressions, their behavioral patterns. But who owns this data? Right, that's the question. And should be recruiters will be cautious or curious about the unseen layers of machine learning. That's what I wanted to discuss with Suniti. Like you come from the corporate recruitment area where a lot of people will be proactively sending resumes, that will be dumped into a system, machine learning, all that. So what is the kind of a data power you hold as an organization, and what is the data privacy which has become a threat for the candidates? The data can be used any which way if somebody wants to use it. So do you have any opinion about that?
Yeah, sure, GS. I'd like to start from the very beginning. See, whenever we talk about AI, whenever any new tool comes in, right, I think the first instinct or first reaction of everybody is fear. Fear in the sense whether this particular tool would replace my work, maybe my position, maybe my designation, maybe the area that I'm serving. Is this tool that efficient that it can completely replace my work in the organization? Right, so there's a lot of fear, a lot of doubt and confusion around any new tool that might come in the market. uh, Having said this, I think if you ask me broad in a broader sense, just like RJ and Geetika, I think already pointed out, I agree to the fact that AI would not definitely not replace recruiters. It will definitely redefine them. See, recruiters, I think what we do as our work, right? I think it is divided into two parts. One part is the admin thing, the day-to-day task, the kind of manual work that we do, kind of recording the data, understanding it, understanding people, having maintain all those data. The other part is understanding apart from that data, things that data can't tell you, right?
Hmm.
The empathetic part that you pointed out, or the emotional part that a recruiter brings to the table. Has it been the only admin task if what we were doing as recruiters? I think बहुत पहले I think recruiters would have been replaced by AI, because if you see right now in the market we have tool for every and anything. You name it and we have a tool for it. Right?
Hmm.
We don't have to use our brains.
Hmm.
So agar if recruiters work was just that, we would have been replaced long time back. But I think recruiters would are in the race and would always stay in the race, because they're not offering just admin and manual tasks. They are doing a lot more than that, right? This reminds me of one example. I was working in Gartner. I was hiring for this role. It was a very normal front end, I think, role. It was not a very niche one. However, there was a candidate I was hiring for. She was hearing impaired candidate, and we had to screen her CV. Something very common, something we do every day, nothing new for us. But that is, I think, this is where the recruiter's role comes up, right? The kind of empathy, the kind of attitude, the kind of maybe the kindness that you need to deal with these kind candidates. Give them the opportunity. This is where I think recruiters shine. And I think you ask about the data point. Coming to that one, I think data is just as good as sorry, AI is just as good as the data is. Right, AI is nothing but the data it is fed, right? And unfortunately I feel data can be biased, very biased. For example, if there is a history of an organization which hires people, maybe, or have a history of not hiring women in the tech domain. If the
Hmm.
organization has that type of data, and if that company integrates AI in this system, AI will replicate that pattern only, right? In future it will automatically eradicate CVs for tech positions, or maybe women candidates, right? AI will replicate that same data. So I think this is where the power lies. You, as a recruiter or as a person, has to understand not just how AI is working, basically the algorithm, how it is picking things up, how it is making those patterns and matching. You also have to understand the kind of data it is being fed on. That kind of understanding, I think, that
See,
clarity is really needed.
that's where I'm pointing out how can organization ensure candidate feel safe, because they are giving all the data, right, from date of birth, mobile, email, multiple things. So, any finicky guys can be use this data in multiple ways. No, so is there organizations have any security mechanism that this data cannot go out, or they cannot sell to any BPOs? Do we have a mechanism? Because that might be one of the concerns with a lot of candidates, because They think that it's a job application, but it's a huge data volume. Like if at all we are doing a volume hiring, thousands of Java profiles, thousands of .NET profiles will appear. Okay, and there's a huge data. Or even if you think at the later level, when you are hiring a purchase manager, it's a huge data for any organization to pitch in. So how an organization can ensure this their data is safe? Do we have a mechanism, or should we have to work on that?
I think we will have to work on that. Honestly, data privacy is honestly a myth. I'm not sure about recruitment as of now, how safe is the data over there. But in normal, if we see our information, whatever we share on the different social media sites or on the shopping sites, if I look at those pictures, I think data is definitely not safe. We are
Hmm.
speaking some topic about, maybe we are speaking about some recruitment platform as of now. The minute I end this video call, this session, I might have an ad pop up on my phone selling me some recruitment software or something like that.
Right.
So from
Right.
that point of view, I understand that as of now, I don't think data privacy is that. I think it's still a myth, honestly. But then,
Hmm.
yes, for recruitment, if you say from organization point of view, I think it's very, very critical, very crucial to keep that data safe, because
Hmm.
this is about people, this is about their career, this is about their source of income. This is very critical, I think, and organization are still, I think, working. I'm not sure about how it has been happening, but yeah, something that we really need to cater to and take seriously.
Okay.
That's, I think, yeah.
Yeah. So in your organization, is there any AI tools which has been introduced and reduce your effort and time and all that? Can you throw some light?
Yeah, yeah. So earlier we were used to, manually screen CVs, manually screen candidates, and kind of understand what kind of roles they can apply for, right? Understanding their skill set and what kind of roles we have for them open, and we used to, share them. But we are in a process of developing some tools so that we can manually match those requirements of a job description and the skill set that a candidate has. That kind of automation is happening. Apart from that, I think communication, from a recruiter's point of view, there's a lot of back and forth communication that has to happen to keep the other party, the candidate side, updated about whatever is happening within the process. So all that admin communication or those email communication are also being in a process to automate, which I think should be also, because I think when the recruiters are able to take their attention off from those manual tasks, that is when they can actually focus on the real task, which is the strategic. I think HR. I don't know if this is very understood or not, but I think HRs are not just somebody who are doing those manual things, the recruitment and day-to-day tasks. They're also strategic advisors, talent advisors to the organizations, right? And
Hmm.
I think that's how the role will transform with the advent of AI, from being resume screeners to being strategic talent advisors to the leadership, to the organization, and presenting those insight that AI has helped them get off, to kind of take those decisions and maybe use other things. Predictive analytics is also comes into the pictures when we talk about all these things. So I think that is how the role will transform.
No, I feel that's a great value addition for a recruiter's role and career, because recruiters most of the time think that it's a sourcing job, it's a telecalling job, and then
Right.
submit CVs, and back and forth they get escalations multiple times on not getting shortlisted, not interviews not happening, all that. Rather than with all this data, they should be in a position like, as you said, advisor or a consultant, behave like a consultant, so that okay, with that data, what is your conclusion with regard to
Exactly.
this particular candidate, whether he will be joining or not, interview will he will be performing or not. That holistic compilation has to be given to the business unit so that they'll take a data driven decisions, rather than experimenting, playing around and wasting time on multiple candidates, and telling that okay, this candidate has not arrived, he's dropping offer, he got another offer. There are multiple things which is happening in last 2 decades, if you remember. So maybe that element, the role and positioning of the recruiter itself has to scale up to 10 times, as if like a consultant advising to an organization. I think that's where the thing is. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So moving on to the final dimension, like the candidate trust and machine judgment. See, now video interviews are being analyzed in most of the AI related tools, and the scoring is happening with a lot of in terms of their behavior, like confidence, tone, and the micro expressions. All that is getting captured. So but is a machine can really sense those kind of a potential, or it has a mechanism? Okay, if you express this way, you are negative. If you express this way, this is positive. So that's the kind of judgment is being given in the entire process, while automated interview systems are being happening. So William, can you tell me, like, what is your opinion? Is it
Yeah,
candidate trust
thank you.
or machine judgment? How does it work?
Yeah, Kumar. I say it was a mechanism. Why I'm saying this? I have the lot of friends from Deloitte, other the MNC companies. I am also working from MNC company. Actually, what happened is, well, suppose if Rohit is giving entry for me, if I am robot, suppose I am a AI bot. If you suddenly someone came and knocked the door, definitely as a person you giving the entry here, so definitely you see the left side. When you turn the left side, that bot think that you're taking answer from some other, and it suddenly cut the call, and it make as a error on the screen. What we think that HR or a TAG team, talent acquisition group, thinks that you make a mistake there. So definitely what happened in these cases is lot of real people lost the opportunities. It was happening recently on in Deloitte. One of the associate from TCS who want to switch 5 years experience. They have work on the on-site for in Sweden. He worked for the 5 years. He's an excellent candidate. He gave interview for the Deloitte. Suddenly, what happened is that due to cyclone, recently how the weather and all happens. So due to cyclone, suddenly door was fall down. Backside of the door is from his house, fall down. Suddenly he thinks something, and he go back to see. He see the back when it happened. Suddenly screen was off. It was the 22 lakhs package. Everything was done. Final round just was the AI grammar type. Little bit of 2 minutes of discussion with AI. They just practice. They send a mail. You making something inappropriate. He just called me and saying that, William, I done this, I done this. Everything was done. Within 1 2 minutes, I will get into the place on Deloitte. But what happened is it was a mechanism. But coming to the real recruiters, what happened is why it happens. I'm coming to this part also. You say no on that Rohit also mentioned, ma'am also mentioned, and the senior executive ma'am also mentioned. This was redefined. Yes, really it was A was redefined. What happened is startup companies, if you see in Hyderabad or some other location, I don't want to mention those locations and all. But what happened is if someone completed intermediate, suppose he completed intermediate, they simply call them and give the numbers and ask them to call. We are conducting interview. Just come to attend here. That basically people thinks that this is the HR recruiter was doing that, but this is not. If you want to only want to call the someone and say that, "Hey, here is the interview, come and apply," means definitely your job you lose the job. But what happen is what the real recruiters definitely want to replacing the all the things. What happens is we have to suppose if I am a civil engineer, I am build this home. Someone gave me work to build this home. I build now 10, 15, 20. After 20, he said, I see some other say in America and see that this type of building. I want construction on this. I don't know that. If I don't know means you definitely go to another person. So that is what happening here is if you don't have a qualification, if you don't ready to learn the things what happening in the future, definitely we lose the opportunity. What I suggest that definitely one is the first question for one first question it was a mechanism. Failing on that, definitely we are on working on it. Every MNC company was just was testing. We are starting to what we are working on that. Definitely we will replace, or maybe there a lot of things happening. A hackathons was happening. Maybe they will find the answer or what is the suggestion for that. And second is definitely we have to learn something. If I am suppose if I am today here, definitely I want to be step in another step in somewhere. If I want to stick here only today and tomorrow and day after tomorrow also, someone will go and stay there. So I want to reach higher means definitely I want to know all the things what happen in future. That is what I want to convey.
Okay.
Kumar. Thank you.
So one question
Hope you get the answer.
from the job seeker point of view. So
Yeah.
now one way is organization is adopting and recruiters are adopting on this AI. But how do you think job seekers are adopting to
Yes.
this AI interviews? Anybody can answer. Are they adopting first of all? Because in
Yeah,
organization recruiters have been trained, organization has been trained by a company, AI company, that these are the technologies you adopt. Maybe there is a learning mechanism on how to implement those things, all that is there. But think about job seekers, they are completely new for the entire technology. So do you see in your experience, are they adopting to the new way of getting shortlisted, getting interviewed, all that?
yeah, definitely. I
I
think
will say very
From point of
simple
view,
answer for
let me
this.
go to people.
Ma'am will continue. Yeah, yeah.
okay. Thank you, William. So I see, we don't have a way out of it. Probably if not today, then tomorrow, and then probably day after tomorrow, we have to get kind of streamlined with hiring with AI. So today, when I speak to people about, because I have my own staffing agency, I speak to candidates, I also speak to clients. Um, Obviously, organizations are moving very fastly towards AI because obviously efficiency is always in the question. Uh, but when I speak to candidates, obviously there's a kind of fear. Likewise, Sunidhi also mentioned the first thing a person, there's a change, and that is how fear triggers you, right? But I think that's a kind of balance which has to be created by both employer and say the candidate. So, for example, when I talk about employer, AI cannot be the end role for screening. It cannot be some AI is just a machine. Okay, whatever we give input, it gives the output accordingly. So, how a recruiter can actually support this entire process is once AI filters as per its own efficiency, the recruiter has always should always go back and see that what has been done. So, for example, there's a tool with a company, and then they start interviewing. You have to say introduce yourself for 5 minutes, and with my facial expression and everything, uh, say I'm rejected, and I get an email about it, right? But as a recruiter, somebody who's from the company, who's the face value of the company until and unless an employee joins, that is how I will be projecting my role to the company and to my own, say, external world, right? I'm the only face of the company. So my role there comes in that I pitch in and I just tell them, then, this is A, B, and C reason that we have done it. So the problem comes that, the company is totally dependent upon AI and not AI plus recruiters. That is how I see the collaboration is not happening. Either we are too heavy on humans or we are too heavy on AI. That balance has to go so that the recruiter can give that EVP to the external world and tell them, this is what we are seeing and this is what we saw. And we can always go back to the decision making. So that is how the strategic involvement has to be done by the recruiter in this
All right.
particular area. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, RJ, you have any point of view because you into recruitment assessment and all that. So, is the job seekers are prepared for that first of all?
Yes, yes, absolutely. So job seekers, I think, are way ahead in the game as opposed to the
Okay.
recruiters. The recruiters still catching up. The job seekers have been using AI for generating their CVs, tweaking them to match up to the JD. So it's no longer one CV that I have.
Hmm.
Every
Correct.
job seeker has got a plethora of versions, right? When I'm applying for a project manager at Deloitte, for example, right? And the job description entails certain things that I've got to do. I will tweak it to that such that there is a higher probability of my profile going through the initial ATS screening at least, right? So making it ATS friendly, pushing it through such that there's a higher score, and most of the time they use AI to feed in the JD and say, here is my basic CV, here is my information, right? Tweak it and make it. So it sounds like you are pretty much in alignment with the job description required, right? The second thing You take a look at the cover letters, right? They're all made with, pretty much all, right? Made with AI today. And the job seekers are, why do I say they're far ahead? The recruiters have got a certain process to follow. They've got certain guidelines, they've got certain rules. The job seekers don't. The job seekers are open to do whatever they need to do. Unfortunately, right? And I'm just drawing a parallel to that. Since COVID, if you notice the offer back out ratio or the moonlighting, it's been so prevalent. Okay, it's not funny, it's hurting the industry. The industries are bleeding, right? But the job seekers or the candidates, or they just go out there and continuously do that. In fact, in one of our cities in the southern part of India, we've also had industries that taught job seekers on how to moonlight, that taught them. Okay, and while, yeah, we can laugh about it now because the cat is out of the bag. But during that time, people are wondering, where is my talent going? I've hired a lot of people. Everyone's working from home, especially during the first lockdown. But the productivity is going down. What's happening? And then you realize that people are working over here as well as there. At the same time, when you take a look at job backouts, so you've hired someone, you've given them an offer, and you're waiting for that 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever your waiting period is, whatever they've given you as their notice period. 2 days before they join, they say, well, sorry, I've taken another job elsewhere. So your entire wait period has gone down the drain. Now you got to go back to that search, right? So I'm just drawing a parallel to say how job seekers do not have any rules to follow. They don't have any guideline. There's no process. The recruiters do. So the job seekers are already ahead of the game. They have utilized all the skills from tweaking CVs to finding relevant jobs using LinkedIn. You can use data scraping. You can do a lot of technology, intervention to get to know where the job's opening. In fact, I'm sure you would be a better judge to know that how do you also attract inert, jobs which are not out there, which are not being posted yet, but there is this demand, and how the job seekers have already made use of that, right? So yes, job seekers are already ahead of the game than recruiters. If that's my
Sure, sure, sure. Thank you, thank you. So, Nidhi, like, what is your advice to the job seekers? Because you're day in day out, you're doing a lot of recruitments. Is there any unpreparedness from the job seekers when they are applying or getting into the onboarding systems and all that? Is there any unpreparedness from the job seekers? And what is your advice to the job seekers in terms of AI-enabled recruitment?
Thank you for that, Yes. First of all, I just want to agree to what RJ has pointed out. It was just on my tongue. I was just about to spit the same facts that job seekers, I think, are already much ahead in the game. I think it would be very naive of recruiters to think that the other party is untouched of AI and only we can use it. I think yes, rightly pointed out, RJ. I think the kind of CVs that we are seeing right now these days. Most of them are, chances are that they're specially curated for the JD that have been shared, right? You have tools that you can give a prompt to the chat or ChatGPT or other tools as well, that this is the JD, please make my resume aligned with this, right? And you can have that very perfect, very smooth CV that just sounds like a perfect profile, and you're like, just "Okay, this is the person I was searching for," right? So those are the things I think are being done and are being normalized. Not just about CV. I think when it comes to interview preparation, there are a lot of tools that can
Mhm.
provide interview assistance, which I think ideally should absolutely not be done, but there are tools that does it, right? So a lot of things are happening, but I think they're not being used in the right way by the candidates, right? They're being used to kind of get ahead in the process in a wrong way, right? And I think when it comes to recruiters, this is where recruiters are important, because if you leave the entire process to machines, both parties can use machines, right? And there would be no if there's no human intervention in the process, I think it's very tough to understand who and why can somebody be a good resource to an organization. So that is where the work of recruiters is very important. And if you're coming to your question of how candidates can actually make good use of the AI tools, or maybe they can prepare use these tools to their advantage, I think JD sometimes is something that we could be interested in, but we may not have the skill set initially. This comes to reminds me of an example. I have a friend who is BTech in mechanical engineering. He did that in I think 2018 something, 2017, 6, 7, 8 years back, and today he is a senior AI engineer working in a top MNC. This kind of jump, I think people or candidates can really use AI tools to kind of switch their skill set according to the JD. Initially, when he must be interviewing for profiles for technical roles, right, he must be having a degree of BTech for mechanical engineering and sitting for interviews for tech roles. I think if you are doing that kind of switch here, I think is where AI can really help you uh, justify your CV. You may not have the required skill set, technically speaking, according to the JD, but then if you acquire it through different tools, use those tools to your advantage, you can just be as good as a fresher who could be interviewing for that same role, right? So I think to develop your skills, I think job seekers can develop their skills using the skill using these tools, even if you're not from that domain or from that industry. Apart from that, I think CVs, if you can make certain tweaks, I think very basic things sometimes are wrong in the CVs that makes it unchecked by the ATS, right, not get selected. Tables, for example, you use in the CVs. There could be other issues, that could be there. Maybe your CV is too long for a ATS to process. I think those little requirements that are there for from the recruiter point of view, those can be also, you can be kept in check. And yeah, I think upskilling is the new I think new era that is coming up, always there to use that. So I think that way it can be helpful for job seekers as well.
Sure, sure, sure. Now, final round of thought process. Maybe I'll put it this way: is it like a collaboration or a competition between AI and companies? What is your point of view? 60 seconds. You can just say either collaboration or a competition. Starting
Definitely.
again from maybe we'll start with William.
I would like to give with the RJ. Why? Because yes, I want to just before I want to mention, I just want to know from the RJ what he want to mention. Why it was collaboration or what?
Sure.
Yeah, then
What you
RJ can
say,
go ahead.
RJ?
Sure. So, when I look at I don't look at it as artificial intelligence. I always in my head coin it as augmented intelligence. Augmented intelligence because just AI alone not good enough. Okay, you got to augment it, or you got to augment the human intelligence. So there is a base, and on top of that, you're adding that layer. So you're just augmenting your intelligence. You're not just replacing. So for me, it's collaboration. Yeah.
Okay, Geetika.
Yes.
Definitely collaboration every time. The only thing which I think we all need to understand is that it's a new tool, it's a new vibe. In I understand that fear part of that creeping in inside you when we say AI, but we also need to understand that that's the future. That is how, if you do not run with it, you will be left out. So let's learn a new skill, develop ourselves, and it is something which you gonna love after some time. So yeah, it's about collaboration, definitely.
Okay, scalability is non-negotiable. It's mandatory. Right. Okay. Okay. Suniti.
Yes, definitely, GS. I think it's collaboration. I think it's about integrating tech with empathy. It's about integrating data with kindness, with intuition. So definitely, AI would be there as your co-pilot. Trying to help you navigate situations, but then at the end, it is the recruiter who must be making the end decision, or maybe advising to the leadership as to how and what can be a good resource to the organization, who has the right potential, may not be having the right skill set at this point of time, but has the potential to scale up. So I think AI is there to provide you data, and you are there to make the decision. So I think definitely a very good collaboration for sure.
So all three votes is for collaboration only.
Yeah.
William.
Now, coming to this, I just want to mention only collaboration. Apart from that, I just want to mention I have the small note also. Mainly, I want to convey the from your YouTube channel or platform for the freshers. You previously mentioned what was the advice for the job seekers. Mainly, I have the company. I have the startup company. We run the HR profiles only. We will shortlist the profiles and helping the freshers to get the opportunity. What I recently observed is the fresher students, those who pass out from the MBA, BTech or different background, what they doing that first of all, when they open the Naukri, just clicking apply, 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 apply. They don't even see what is the JD. First thing you have mentioned previously, what was the advice for the job seekers? I always say that is it reliable to you or not? All of thinking that there is a no jobs in platform, there is no market in the market, no jobs in the market. But that is wrong. First thing what we want to do is it our job or not? We want to see the JD. Coming to the JD, when you see the JD, if you don't know how to prepare the resume, just go and give the prompt. If you do no need to learn prompt engineering also there. Here is the JD. Here is my skill. Here is my background of education. Just give me one. Simple. It was the 2 minutes of work. But what doing the freshers what are doing is simply clicking apply. They're thinking we are not selecting. Coming to the recruiters, what happen is ATS simply rejected their resumes. What happened is I say previously see it was very comedy for everyone. They mentioned one of the resume is fresher BSc graduate just pass out from BSc. 5 pages of resume. I was shocked. What was in 5 pages? I just opened. It was home decorating, food logging, cooking food, decoration home. These are all not happening in the project. This is not happening. We will not do in the TCS or any other organization. I simply ask, why you mention all this? Sir, I know this all this. What you know from the technical side? I don't know anything. If you don't know anything, just mention those only. What you know, mention those. If you don't know anything, means you just apply. All this means you don't not ready to sell to any company. First thing. And second thing is simply making boxes. Pressure thinking, how many pages of resume it will be make us effective to the recruiter. But
No,
not
if
that.
you want to give an
Single page is there.
advice, if you want to give an advice, you can give. These are all things are happening, which we already know.
Yeah.
Like what advice
Yeah.
you want to give, you can give in
So,
60 seconds.
I came from the BBA, MBA, and DBA. No, Kumar. I just want to give the advice is lot of students was coming out of the from HR specialization. What is thinking that AI replacing HRs. So there is no work for HR or recruiters. They're thinking, but that is not the right. It was we learning the new things. So there is a lot of opportunities for HRs. So do the HR specialization. You get the those who get the AI tools and HR is the best performer and the best person. You will get the high package in the market. That is what I want to convey the fresher students.
Okay. So now, out of this 1 hour conversation, one thing is very, very clear: is AI is not here to replace recruiters, is what I understand. So it's here more towards reinventing and redefining them. That's the call for today. So the recruiters of tomorrow will not compete with machines. Rather, they will lead them. Like they have to drive. AI itself or automation itself, it cannot drive in its own way, right? So there should be a human trigger to kickstart the whole thing and then driving the whole show. So because AI can analyze a candidate, but only a human can understand them. Analyzing is different, understanding is different. So understanding is purely required in the people oriented kind of a job like sales, purchase, or recruitment, HR related stuff. Understanding the intentions is huge requirement. Where the AI tool can fail in understanding them, it is only giving a data, 10 different data it can give, but still it cannot understand the human. That's the gap. So it can read words, but only a recruiter can sense the intention or attitude behind that. Okay, though you can capture impressions, left side, right side, or the tone of voice, the speed of voice, everything, but intention you may not even know. For that, a recruiter is really required. So the future belongs to those who blend with human intuition with technological intelligence. Both are combination, like 50-50%. Technological intelligence is 50%, and my own human emotional quotient will be like 50%. So thank you for joining RJ and William, Sunidhi and Geetika for your valuable Sunday time. If you have any concluding remarks, 60 seconds for everybody, starting from RJ.
Sure. Thanks for this, Kumar. So, one of the things that I'd like to, as I was touching the topic on augmented intelligence, we as humans do need to, the human in the loop is the concept in when it comes to artificial intelligence that needs to be super enhanced. Everything that is AI produced. An example that William gave was, when someone looked away and the system thought that he was talking to someone else and the system cut the call saying that okay, this guy is cheating probably. After that report has been generated to a recruiter, the recruiter could go out there, check it, and make sure that hey, this is a machine error, this is not what really happened, and give that opportunity again to that candidate, saying okay, fine, here's another opportunity. That's where you override AI and not just let AI run the show for you. The other thing is about EQ, which very rightly Geetu had mentioned, that is something that is pretty much missing, right? When it comes to AI, it does have the intelligence or the IQ, if I may, and really it does not even have the intelligence. It's just recognizing patterns. But yes, it is very good at that part as well, right? But that EQ, that heart to heart connect, which really adds the EVP, which really tells the candidate, hey, I want to join this company, not because it has the best things in the world, but because it has the best people there. They can connect with me. I can understand them. They can understand me. I feel welcome. I feel connected. Well, that's a big win, which an AI cannot do. Where humans can cover the breadth of things, you want to talk about the different aspects. AI can be used to go to the depth of every single thing and assess them. Sure. And as you rightly said, analyzing something is very different from understanding something or someone. Humans are not machines. Machines can help just the superficial understanding and ensuring that we're not talking to the wrong candidates. We're not wasting time over that, which is a good thing, so that I can spend more time with the right candidates, getting them, through telling them about the benefits of the companies, the EVP, right? Very, very important. And at the same time, understanding them far more than otherwise. And I think, the data security part, which Sunidhi was also mentioning a while ago, I think when the data rests with the corporate, there is a risk of, data being stolen or sold or things like that. But when there are third party companies, that is their bread and butter, right? For example, like when I say ProValuer, right? Which is where data security is very highly kept. So let's say if I'm talking about a Naukri portal or LinkedIn, right? You cannot just steal their data because that is very highly protected. That's their bread and butter. So I think I'm just covering and summarizing the entire conversation today in these points from my side.
Thank you, RJ. Your Sunidhi, your final key takeaways.
Yeah, I think GS, it's very important for recruiters to understand, become tech savvy, I think, in a way to leverage those tools, leverage those things to automate the mundane tasks so that they can focus on other things that matter actually to the organization. The point that Geetika pointed out, the EQ part, right? The other things that data can help you navigate, but at the end, you are the person who has to drive the car, right? So it is very important to use these tools, not be be unaware of them. Be You have to be very upfront with what technologies are coming in, how they're working, and how you can integrate them into your day-to-day tasks. But having those skill set, you have to also understand that you are managing people, you are managing human resource, right? That is the essence of your profession. So never let that human touch or that human part of your process, never let that go. That is very important. So yes, I think the integration is very important, but then to keep that human element alive is also important. That is the essence of this profession, I think. That has to be there. So yeah, I think great collaboration. But yeah, that is how I think I would like to sum up the entire discussion.
Yeah. William, your final thoughts, 60 seconds.
Yeah, already the senior managers, RJ and Sunita, everyone was mentioned. This is all I agree, and I just want to reply the comment. Like someone was comment that Raj, can everyone suggest the AI tool which was helpful? I can use from last 1 year. From I also using in my organization. It was free of cost. Teal AI Builder, TEAL AI Builder. That was the app which can use your resumes and all. First thing I want to clear that comment, and second, as we know, as we all know, AI was growing very fast. So I would like to recommend everyone to apply for our lives, and you can learn at least some prompts. Prompts are very easy. Now TCS was uh, giving paying the price to every associate and to learn the prompt engineering. Why it was doing that? Organization was running fast to do impact on the associates and the business also. So definitely everyone want to learn the prompt engineering, that will be helpful every people, those who are working in corporate or government sector. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Geetika, your final take.
Yeah, so I think, as per my understanding and the kind of discussion we had, AI can always be the first filtration process for the recruiter and for the organization. And the recruiter can be then become an ambassador or probably become an advisor uh, in collaboration with AI. Uh, so the role has given that space to the AI to do a certain repetitive admin task, and now recruiters have leveled up to become ambassador and advisor, and all that plethora of EQ and EVPs come into the picture, and then you push it to the company and the business whom you're supporting. The data driven or the data privacy part is that many of the organizations are basically either are GDPR or CCPA. They have certifications in place. So companies with such kind of certifications, they have to ensure that your data is kind of uh, stored in and kept in a particular way and cannot be given out to the third parties. So try and join such organizations which are basically CCPNA or DDPA Act certified, so that you join the right company and then you can follow the AI protection. I think proactive risk assessment is there, and then that is how it will pan out to the organization also. So I think it is a good combination, great collaboration. I think I had some great insights today. Thank you so much for your time, Kumar, and looking forward to more discussions with you.
So that's the end of, I would not say end, like this is the beginning of this kind of a conversation because everybody are experimenting, playing around and experiencing advantages and disadvantages in various factors. So maybe this conversation can kickstart those kind of dimensions where we can think about data privacy, also job seekers preparation, more than the recruiters scalability and companies automation. So that's the point which we thought, like how the dimensions can be spoken about rather than blindly we follow certain things. So thank you so much for joining RJ, William, and Sunidhi and Geetika for sharing the valuable insights, which is very very unique and specific in terms of the nature, because you come from that particular experience and subject matter, and dealing with a lot of candidates gives you that lot kind of insights which will be definitely useful for our job seekers fraternity. So hope to see you soon on the next panel discussion as well. Thank you so much for joining on a Sunday.